My name is Yaşar Adanalı. I'm the founding director of Postane. Postane is an urban hub focused on generating social and environmental impact and provides spaces and resources for collective cultural work productions. So actually what we aim to achieve with this space and this experience is actually to see the kind of spaces that we need, we want in our cities, which bring people together, to produce together, that is restorative, that is generative. We want our cities to have more spaces that allow collective living, production, and also those safe and inclusive spaces that bring different actors together. In our own life, this was a need. In our own institutions, this was a need. As individual activists, this was a need. And we wanted to have those spaces that give hope to people who use them, but who also work there. So this has come out of our own experience in the cities. We can call Postane, we can see Postane as a kind of an ecosystem in itself. So that's why we started this project with this concept of tree of life. We imagine a cultural space that actually holds an ecosystem in itself, but also being part of a larger ecosystem. And this ecosystem is a real ecosystem that consists of living beings, humans and non-humans. If you go to our rooftop, you meet with our birds, insects, different plants. But also in the building, there are a lot of different organizations that are working together. There are individuals coming on a daily basis to this place to eat, to produce podcasts, to organize events or hold meetings. So precisely, it is an ecosystem of people and organizations that want to make the world a better place. We are surrounded with multiple crises. I think we are going through one of the most difficult times of the world. There's a climate crisis, there is economic crisis, there is political crisis, conflict and wars all around our region. So the kind of safe, productive, fair spaces that we try to achieve in places like Postane is actually doesn't happen in a vacuum, doesn't happen in a kind of tabula rasa context. It's in relation to all these crises. So it has an impact on our spaces, our team, our communities, our business. So just being able to operate, just being able to open the door of our institutions every day is a challenge in itself. But despite that, we are trying to do that, and we are actually, precisely because of that, we know that we have to open that door. So that is in a way a responsibility as well, and every responsibility comes with a cost, a pressure on individuals, on teams, on the institutions. So I think this is a major challenge that we face. I think it's a perfect match. I mean, as the space itself kind of clearly shows that this is what we try to achieve in difficult times, try to establish a resilient institution, and especially in the cultural field. And having such a transnational group in Postane discussing these challenges and also learning from each other is a kind of partnership we would like to develop. So we see that as a very a right place to host this event, and also happy to know these different cultural managers from the region, which is a kind of exchanges that we would like to see more in our spaces as well, and that also allow us to make this kind of local to transnational connections. The kind of issues we are discussing here and the models that we are trying to generate are actually relevant beyond our borders. And there's a lot that we can also learn from each other going through similar challenges. Few advices come to my mind. So first of all, to be flexible, especially when we think about building a resilient institution. We need to be flexible, and the flexibility comes with openness to changing needs of communities, changing needs of teams, changing needs of the cities that we are located. So thinking our institutions as resources, then how flexible these resources can be adapted to changing needs is one thing, which has an impact on design, which has an impact on your programming, which has an impact on how inclusive you are to these different communities. I think another lessons that come to my mind from our own experiences to kind of have embedding programming into the physical space is very important. It really facilitates things, meaning that when you turn your rooftop in an urban garden, that you have to look after, that you have to have a proper caring, then you start your programming with the physical space. I think this is thinking again a space design architecture in this way, like how we can embed our program into the space, having your studios, having your meeting places, production become and programming become much more integral to your operations. I think this is a second recommendation I would make, and then building up these relationships in the ecosystem that we are in, but also trying to go beyond that, like what is our immediate ecosystem, that is nice, but how we can go beyond that. So in our experience as well, so how we can be a relevant space for those maybe not necessarily cultural sector. So this is always in our mind as well, like how we can be relevant for our community, how we can be relevant for the hospital in front of us, or whatever surrounding our neighborhood. So trying to be first and foremost as a cultural institution a local resource, but with a vision to go beyond that, having this transnational vision that connects all of us. I think that's a good starting point. A lot of cultural institutions or cultural initiatives either are very transnational, has this kind of globalist perspective with not so much paying attention to the local level, or it is extremely localized. So how we can actually bridge these scales, different scales, is a tricky issue. But that's, I think I can sum up these three elements from our own experiences. And also maybe as a final one, we try to create an impact either in terms of culture, in terms of social, in terms of environment, if we are in this field, right? So how we can really reflect that impact in our own institutions. So that is a kind of truthness that we can put forward. That would be, I guess, my final recommendation.